Hello, my Bill 5000 Nation. How's everyone doing today? Hopefully, everyone's having a great day. If not, I hope it gets better from here. We are back with another Watcher. This one is titled, Are You Scared of Mannequins? No, I am not, actually. Mannequins do not bother me. They're creepy, but they do not scare me. Alright, we'll go ahead, and I'll probably cover this in every video because I record all videos in the same day. I am sick. I've been sick for about 3 or 4 days, and my body hurts, my head hurts, my eyes hurt, my throat hurts, and all I can do is sleep. So yes, I went through and I got short videos to react to this week because I am a small channel. If I miss a day, 2 days, 3 days, a whole week, everything goes to shit. Plus, I really enjoy getting on here and doing this and hanging with you guys. So I probably am not going to be up to my usual crazy self, but we're going to get through it and we're going to do it together. All right, let's go ahead and get in today's video. Go ahead, turn them lights down low, put on something comfy, couple something special. Let's get creeped the hell out, man. I'm not scared of mannequins now, but Watcher, it's up to you to change my mind.
This video contains content that some might find disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. There's something about mannequins that you just can't quite trust. Maybe it's the emotionless face, the stiff poses,
too perky, and it scares you,
or the uncanny valley that evokes the feeling
it's the
of
flat
uneasiness.
crotches too.
Tonight, our narrator.
Seriously, for me, it's the flat crotches, and it's the way they make them look human. It just creeps me out. It doesn't scare me. It just creeps me out. And then, like, Barbie dolls freak me out too. Like the Barbie dolls and Ken dolls, they freak me out too. I don't like it, but I'm not scared of them. Like, not scared. I don't get scared.
Are witnesses firsthand what this irrational fear can do to someone's mind. I'm Ryan Bergara,
I've watched
and this
I Am
is
Legend.
Are You Scared? A show where I tell my friend Shane Madej the internet's scariest stories. So lock your doors, turn off those lights, and let's see if we can make it till the end of the night. The mannequins. What is the most terrifying thing that you've ever seen? He asks as he leans on his cuffed hands against the edge of the steel table. The question catches me off guard. I had expected contrition, denial, maybe even rage. Not a challenge veiled as a question. My scalp tingles as my thoughts churn their way to a response. I like that.
My thoughts tingle, tingly thoughts.
You ever feel your scalp tingle like ASMR or something like that?
ASMR doesn't really work on me that much.
Should we test it out?
Sure.
This is a test to see if the ASMR works in your ears.
It's like I can feel myself on the precipice of it, you know?
Hold on.
Yeah, ASMR don't do shit for me either.
Can you hum? It's not working.
But the sight of his face blows them away, like swirls of dust in the wind. His mouth is pressed in.
I don't like the white noise machines either. I do like the ones that sound like rain, but I love the sound of rain. But that don't help me sleep. It just makes me want to go pee.
Into a thin line, a deliberate attempt at maintaining poise. But his eyes pop out of their sockets. Sweat coats his face like a thin film of oil, lending a muted sheen to his pale skin. Jesus Christ, he looked like that guy in Men in Black when he's, Edgar, your skin's falling off your face. He goes, you know what I'm talking about? Is that murder?
Is
You got some thin lips.
No,
Just be normal.
I'll let them fall naturally.
Just be normal. Be normal for a second, come on. Let's see those thin lips.
This is their natural state.
Madness rolling beneath a mask of composure.
I have no lips either, bud.
For me, it was 5 mannequins in the middle of a forest.
I got more
he
mustache
says,
than lip.
rubbing his thumbs together.
Is that scary? Mannequins? People are scared of mannequins?
I don't like mannequins. Every time I pass by them in like a store, first off, I'm like,
you scream.
That's a cool fit. Then the second thing I think is, I could feel like, you know how you could feel the presence of it on your neck?
Yeah.
You're like almost like, oh, it's looking at me. And then the third thing is I scream.
The fits are all lies though, because they put a little clothespin back there to make it tight. You know, people.
Well, that's how I shop. I just go into a place and go, that.
I'll have what he's having.
I'll have what that guy's having. Mr. Costin, I say, clearing my throat, do you understand why you are here? They were right in the middle of that clearing, all lined up side by side, like they were on display. Mr. Costin, I say again. Not where you would expect them to be, is it? It's the incongruity that so terrified me. Mr. Costin, I repeated myself, louder. That gets him to stop. He looks at me, blinks, then leans forward. Yes, he whispers, and it feels like a wet tongue sliding down my spine.
Ugh! All right. I'm sure.
You know?
Yo, this guy clearly knows what that feels like. A wet tongue sliding down the spine.
Good for him. He's into some creepy stuff.
I don't even know how you execute that as the licker. You got to sort of like
you start
lizard yourself over them and all the way down to the ass crack, I guess.
Or you could just kind of like work your way up like a big lick, you know?
They said down.
Down the spine. Oh, then you just start from the opposite way.
Yeah.
You just like start from the head down. Oh, I see what you're saying. How would you do that?
You start with the neck as a little appetizer, then you end with a big old fudge sundae down there.
That's right. Anyways.
That's how it ends up sometimes, you know?
Understand why I'm here? Yes, because I'm a suspect in my wife's disappearance, isn't it?
You gotta bite a booty every once in a while.
Thick as smoke settles between us. I pretend to read the papers laid out in front of me before raising my head back up again. He hasn't yet broken his stare. Mr. Costin, why don't you tell me what happened today? That's what I was trying to do before you so rudely interrupted me. Oh, shit, dude.
How's your tongue tasting your own ass, Poindexter?
Actually, didn't even think of that, but yeah.
I stopped myself from apologizing. It all started a couple days ago, he begins. Our 7th anniversary was coming up. Working from home for so long had us feeling pretty cooped up, so we thought it would be a good idea to head up to her uncle's cabin to unwind and celebrate. It's a beautiful place, you know, 2 stories, strong old wood, and about a mile away from the most gorgeous cliff, snow-capped mountains as far as the eyes can see. We'd go there every morning to watch the sunrise, just like we did last Monday. And that's when we saw them. Them? I ask. You mean the mannequins? Yes, the mannequins, he says, ignoring the disbelief in my voice. Maya was the one who spotted them, caught something shining out of the corner of her eye when we were making our way back to the cabin. She wanted to see what it was, so we went off the trail and into the woods, fought our way past a tankful of bushes and came upon a small clearing. And there they were, like I said, placed right in the middle, all side by side. Vibe check, by the way.
Okay.
Did he kill his wife?
Yeah.
I think 100%.
He killed his wife.
I think he killed his wife and then did other stuff after he killed his wife.
To the mannequins. I don't think mannequins are that creepy. I had a mannequin head when I was a boy. I think it's a fun thing for anyone to have.
I don't think so. Head. I disagree. I disagree completely, actually. I don't think anyone should ever own a mannequin head unless they're, of course, starting a retail business in which they need to put clothes on the mannequin. But
it's a fun thing to have. Nice bit of decor.
All right, I'm sure you had.
I didn't have 5 of them.
Yeah, I don't like mannequins.
Okay.
I'd be unnerved by this.
Sure, who wouldn't?
If it actually happened. I think he just killed his wife.
I think he killed his wife.
He takes a deep breath and tries to get his trembling hands under control while continuing to hold my gaze. I could feel a certain sense of wrongness as we got closer to them, something that made the hair on my arm stand up. I wanted to walk away, hell, I wanted to run, but I didn't want to look like a coward in front of her either, so I followed her. I regretted my decision as soon as I saw them clearly. They were all identical, mostly, that is. Same white plastic, same posture, same tar black suits and dress shirts and red ties, the only difference being... Being what? I ask as he trails off. Some of those suits were torn up, ripped to shreds around the arms and legs, with holes burned through the shoulders and torsos and more. And it wasn't just the clothes either, the mannequins themselves too. Some of them were broken, shattered even. A caved-in chest, a missing arm or leg, half the face blown off. It felt like someone had inflicted violence upon them.
Yeah, they're in the woods.
Yeah, I guess it could be like an animal or
It's
something.
the woods. I mean, even if it's not an
probably
animal,
taking them out there for
anyone's
target
bringing a
practice.
mannequin out into the woods probably to fuck it up, you know?
Yeah, to shoot it with like a shotgun or
Shoot
something.
it with a gun, hit it with a bat.
Blowtorch.
I'm not a violent serial killer, but I think it'd be fun to beat the shit out of a mannequin with a baseball bat.
I mean, why the
guess.
fuck not?
Yeah, imagine a mannequin just standing there, and I didn't even know that they were in suits, which is less scary, because naked mannequins are the scariest thing you can see. What is that bulge? You grab a big old bat, get your Louisville Slugger. Imagine just beaming that thing in the head, just right in the head. That's gotta be satisfying, especially you cave that thing in, you just kind of lose yourself in it.
I'm gonna start watching myself around
Till
you
you're
when
just slick with sweat.
Holy shit.
Yo, this episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. Hey, look, life is pretty scary, and it's not always the big issues that get you either. Because if it's not relationships, it's work. And if it's not work, it's traffic. All I'm saying is that with BetterHelp, you don't have to do it all on your own. BetterHelp is a professional therapy, but done securely online. BetterHelp not only offers a wide range of expertise, but they also make their services available to clients worldwide. They assess your needs and match you with a therapist in under 48 hours. Once you have matched, you can log into your account at any time to send messages to your therapist. Plus, you'll be able to schedule weekly video or phone sessions without having to leave the comfort of your home. And if you don't vibe with your therapist, don't worry. BetterHelp will let you change your therapist free of charge. BetterHelp is actually more affordable than traditional therapy overall and offers financial aid to those in need. So, join the 2 million others who have started their own journey toward better mental health today with BetterHelp. Go to betterhelp.com/areyouscared and get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. That's betterhelp.com/areyouscared. And now,
imagine you're in the grocery store. You have the perfect dinner date all planned out. All the ingredients are in your cart ready to go. You just have to pick up one last thing. You turn down aisle 12, ready to grab your chili flakes, and boom, out of stock. Sounds like a nightmare? Well, it's real. I've lived it. And that's why I use HelloFresh. HelloFresh is America's #1 meal kit again.
We should get out of there. But she
Only
wasn't
do
having
one.
it. She was far too fascinated by those things. Jesus, you should have seen the look on her face. It was like she was in a trance. Eyes so wide that they almost popped.
You know this. We only do one. We only do one commercial. They try to slip in two every once in a while, and I'll be not having it.
Out of her skull, and never once seemed
Words.
to blink. Can you imagine how freaky that is? Yes, I think, as I shift uncomfortably in my seat.
Yeah, sounds weird.
It's almost as weird as this. She didn't respond to my
Right.
suggestions, so I said it again, that maybe it was time to leave. But she still didn't listen. She was touching them now, running her hands gently over the torn fabric. Finally, she turned to look at me and said something that made me feel like someone had dumped a bucket of ice down the back of my shirt. What did she say? She said, wasn't it strange how those mannequins were arranged, like one after the other, progressively getting worse? And I'm telling you, until she pointed it out, I hadn't even noticed it. The one to the far left was whole and perfect, while the one to the far right looked like it had just survived a bomb blast. The others seemed to progressively get worse, or better depending on how you were looking at them. How had I missed it? It was right there, but my mind just slid over it. I told her we should leave, again. It angered her. I could see a flash of rage in her eyes as she asked me why. What was wrong? I tried to make up some excuse about cooking up some breakfast or something, but she didn't give a shit.
I also don't know why he needs to make up an excuse. I'd be like, because I don't want to stand here with 5 decrepit mannequins.
And
anymore.
also, this is like a story, but you have to imagine this playing out in real time. She's over there like, oh. And he's like, hey, honey, what if we ate some bacon and eggs? She
Right.
wanted to stay there for just a little bit more. I asked her why she cared so much about some plastic junk in the middle of the woods. She ignored my barb and instead suggested
they
that we
hers?
should drag these things back to the cabin.
No.
Just the idea made my heart sink in my chest. We began arguing. An honest-to-God fight right out.
But bitch, you can do that shit. I'm done. I'm out. Like I said, I'm not scared of them, but they're creepy. I sure the fuck ain't taking them back home. What if the person who put them out there to begin with came looking for them?
In the forest. It was so bizarre. It ended with me begging and pleading and physically dragging her away from there. I could feel her glare burning holes in my back all the way up to the cabin.
I would have just left her there.
I would have too.
I thought he was the weirdo. But he is the weirdo, but maybe she's a bigger
He's still
weirdo.
a weirdo. Yeah,
she's a bigger weirdo.
She's eclipsing him.
Yeah. It was tense between us the whole day. She ignored me, refused to say a word no matter how much I apologized. I knew what I had to do to make things right with her, but letting her go back to those things was simply out of the question. I make a note in my head as he continues. We went to sleep that night without her having said a word to me the whole day. It was the biggest mistake
Living
I've
the
ever
dream,
made.
bro.
If I had tried a little harder, maybe things wouldn't have gone to shit the way they did. What happened? I asked. I woke up in the middle of the night and found that she wasn't in bed.
If the story ends with 6 mannequins, I'm gonna scream.
Very Shyamalan.
Very Shyamalan, Shyamalan-esque, Shyamalanican.
He replies, his voice starting to
Ding
tremble.
dong.
I was groggy and scared and confused, but then reasoned that maybe she was in the bathroom. The sound of a chair being dragged around downstairs made me realize how inaccurate my assumption was. I swung out of
Is
bed
it a
and
chair
made my way
or
downstairs.
is it a mannequin?
My heart was pounding in my chest. I had no idea
Cough
what I was
drop.
going to see downstairs, but knew that I would not like it in the least. My worst fears were confirmed when I reached the bottom of the stairs and saw the state of the living room. Those mannequins. They were in the fucking house, sitting on chairs arranged in a circle in front of the fireplace.
Mannequin party. I like that.
Remember the mannequin challenge? Was that 2019? You remember that?
Do people just stay still?
They just
Was
stayed
that
still. It was like,
I guess I'm jumping in and sort of embedding myself in the scene.
oh, I see.
I don't want to upset my wife, who has clearly lost her mind, so I'm going to sit down next to one of the mannequins and just go with it.
I
Be
see.
like,
So you're not kink shaming
"Oh,
her.
No, exactly.
You want
right.
to play into it.
Yes.
You say, let's turn this diorama into a Shanorama.
Absolutely a Shanorama.
Blank white faces looking at each other. And Maya was there, sitting on the floor in the middle of that circle, cooing at them. I thought, is that what cooing means?
I guess I imagine, yeah, it's sort of like a,
Dude, that's so creepy. Her arms and legs
Please
were
tell me
caked
they're wrong.
with dirt. Christ, man, she had gone out in the middle of the night and brought them to the cabin. She couldn't have done that in one go. How many trips did she make? 3? 5? All alone, in that dark, barefoot? I swear I felt I was going to faint from the terror I was feeling at that moment. My imagination makes me shiver. Scared, are you? He asks, his piercing stare pulling the answer right out of me. You can imagine how I felt. I was alone up in the mountains with the love of my life who was either going through a severe mental breakdown or I didn't even want to think about the other alternative. What is the other alternative? Either she's gone crazy or
She's
she
possessed.
wants to.
I mean, is there a version where she hasn't lost her mind?
Don't
Well, the
finish
version
that
where she
sentence,
hasn't lost her
but
mind is that mannequins have come alive and are, you know.
That would enter as a possibility in your brain?
I mean, in the twisted world of Are You Scared?
I'm talking about realistically. Would you, what?
No.
I called out to her, slowly, softly, and asked her to come back to bed. She paid me no attention and continued whispering to those horrible things. After a long moment of hesitation, I decided to take her away from there. Thankfully, she didn't resist when I pulled her onto her feet and helped her up the stairs into our room. She kept mumbling something under her breath the whole time. I tried to listen in, but couldn't make heads or tails of it. I put her in bed and she was out in seconds. And that left me with a dilemma. What to do about those things downstairs? Should I take them back where we'd found them? Dump them out the window? Both options scared the shit out of me, so I chose to lock the door and go off to sleep. I gotta say, this guy really
burn
loves
him.
his wife.
Yeah, he does.
It's freaky what she's doing.
Yeah, it's
I would
freaky.
throw the
Do you agree
bitches
with his
in the
methodology here?
fireplace.
To just kind of set it and forget it, lock the door?
I think
I'll deal with the mannequins tomorrow?
No, you deal with the mannequins right then and there. Wife is exhausted because she's been hauling mannequins all night, so she's gonna be out like a light. What you do is you go to the shed, find yourself a sledgehammer, and you smash those fuckers into pieces.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually might agree with this methodology. Because if I go downstairs and deal with the mannequins, how do I know she's not gonna come down the
You
stairs?
do that old trick of putting a chair in the door, wedging a chair.
Oh, like lock it,
Just lock her in there.
like locking your spouse in a room?
Lock your spouse in a room.
Yeah,
know?
that old trick.
Yeah, works
It
every
took me
time.
hours to go to sleep. My heartbeat made sure of that. But I did drift off to sleep eventually. For the next thing I remember is the sound of the door being shut. I woke up, shook the cobwebs of sleep off my head, and realized that Maya had gone downstairs again. Alarmed, I jumped out of bed and followed her. I must have been halfway down the stairs when I heard her gasp. It was a sound full of surprise and delight. When I entered the living room, she was already humming and playing with them. And so we had another fight. Her denying what she'd done last night, accusing me of gaslighting her and cruelly taking those mannequins away from her. Me trying to defend from those accusations, trying to reason with her, trying to explain to her how crazy all this was. It ended with me locking her up in our bedroom and deciding to take those mannequins back out to the woods. I carried them, 2 at a time, tucked under each arm as I trudged all the way back to the clearing. Then back again, and again. Each time she screamed at me from the bedroom, told me how insane I was acting, asking me why I was so against the idea of her being with those mannequins. Yeah, that's what she said, that she wanted to be with them. Not that she wanted to play with them, as insane as even that would have been. So you locked her up in the bedroom, I ask. Yes, he replies, his cue ball eyes flashing with annoyance. I had to do it, didn't I? What other choice did I have? I had to protect her. You know what? I might be agreeing with this psychopath now. That's the right way
That's
to do it.
what you gotta do.
How would you even do that, though? I suppose you could like tie a rope to the doorknob and then tie it to another doorknob.
Oh, that's smart. Yeah. You're a smart guy.
I have a way of
Thinking.
trapping people in rooms, I guess.
Would've
Of course.
went with
I
thinking.
nodded. So what happened next? It was my last trip. I was putting the last mannequin in place, in the exact same spot I had seen it, when I heard the sound of a twig snapping somewhere to my left. I turned and saw her. Maya. She was peeking at me from behind a thick oak. I right about pissed myself. How? How was she here? She was locked up in the bedroom. When and how did she get out? It's weird to walk up to somebody who's hiding behind a tree and be like, hey, everything okay?
I can see you.
You're
You're just behind
You
a
don't
tree.
blend in with the tree.
Why didn't I hear her following me? There were so many questions going through my mind, I thought my head was
Was that
going to
like
explode.
the mannequin
And
doppelganger
then,
her?
I'm ashamed to say it, but I ran. I couldn't bear to stay there a second longer. I gritted my teeth and ran back up the trail, not thinking about what I should do about Maya or anything else. Pure primal fear was guiding my actions. My lungs burned, my legs pulsed with pain, but I didn't stop running until I came back to the cabin. And the nightmare only grew worse. For in the cabin, I found Maya sitting in the living room surrounded by those damn mannequins sitting on their chairs.
They're back?
That's what I just read, yeah.
What?
Surrounded by those damn mannequins sitting on their chairs.
damn it!
How did that happen? At this point, you've now, reality's broken.
She's a witch.
My real
Kill
wife
her.
is dead and she is
Burn her.
now some sort of sorceress.
Yeah, this lady's gotta go.
I
Burn her
felt
at
like
the stake.
crying. I haven't done
It's
it
the
in
only option.
decades. But at that moment, all I wanted to do was curl up into a ball and start sobbing. Maya stopped fussing over a damaged mannequin and asked me, with the utmost concern, if there was anything wrong with me.
That's rich. Hey, what's your fucking problem? Me and the boys wanna know. He doesn't seem well.
I'll tell him, Brian. I'll tell him. We're concerned about you. I stammered my way to a response. I asked her how those mannequins had come back to the house. She looked at me like I had grown another head. I asked her again, how did they end up back there when I had just taken them out? You know what she said? Fuck, she told me I never took them out. That when I came downstairs that morning and saw her with those mannequins, I just bolted out the door. And the next time she saw me was just now. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Was I the one who was going crazy? Had I imagined everything? The fight, the 3 trips, The sight of her peeking at me from behind that tree, running back to the cabin in terror, had none of it been real? I find myself wetting my dry lips. That mustn't have been easy for you. No, he says. It certainly fucking wasn't. Maya asked me if I was feeling alright, if I wanted to get some rest. I said no. No rest. I wasn't spending another second in that place. We needed to leave. Now. She nodded and went upstairs to get our stuff. In the meantime, I went outside to check on our car. And guess what? All the tires had been slashed. Now who did that? Did I do that? Or was it her? Or the mannequins? I had no clue. But I knew that we weren't getting out of there anytime soon.
He's getting in his own head now.
We tried calling for help, but surprised we got no signal on our phones. I felt so hopeless then, so suffocated, like death was wrapping its hands around my throat and I was completely at its mercy. Another day passed by, this one far gloomier and slower than the last. We went over our options, but the only reasonable ones we could come up with was to either wait for someone to notice our disappearance or set the forest on fire and hope someone comes to put it out and rescues us. After having a light and rations
Just
of dinner,
drove it on 4
we
flats.
went to
Fuck
bed.
it.
I guess you gotta stick together at this point if you both don't know what's reality anymore.
Not ideal. Not an ideal trip.
Do
You don't have to
think he's
replace your
losing his
rims, but
mind, or do you
fuck
think
it.
she's
Get the
losing
fuck
her
out of
mind?
there.
Maybe they both are.
Oh, like fully a dough.
Oh.
Shared paranoia.
Maybe there's something in the water. Bad water?
Cabin fever?
And the mannequins? I left them in the living room. I knew there was no way to get rid of them. I would just end up messing with my head again. Not rational, I know, but my only goal was to somehow get out of there, nothing else. Now, I didn't think I would get any sleep that night, but I did, at least for half an hour or so before I was woken by the hollow sound of plastic knocking on wood. I woke up and bit back a scream when I saw a mannequin standing at the foot of my bed. It was the most damaged one of the lot, and it was somehow walking towards me.
It's sort of scary, but at the same time, I imagine them sort of moving like the Toy Story army men.
Oh, like
Just sort of
like on the snowboard.
That can be scary.
Yeah, I mean it's a inanimate object being animate at that point.
But they don't even have hinged elbows, so they can't really even do much, I guess they could slap you
Yeah, they could.
or hug you.
I might have to agree with you here. I'd be scared, but also
I'd be scared, but I could kick a
I
mannequin's
think
ass.
I could beat the shit out of a
Yeah.
mannequin.
Honestly, I
You could
don't
rip
have a
its
lot
arm
of
off and beat it to death with
faith
its
in
own
my
arm.
skills as a competitive fighter. I think this is maybe the one fight I could win.
That's fair.
Hell yeah, buddy.
It was the sound of its plastic
can
feet
do
hitting
it.
the floor that had woken me up. But how? How could that thing be walking? I took another step forward, came under the glare of the moonlight, and I saw how.
Hairy legs?
I just saw the next sentence.
It wasn't walking. My wife was. She had somehow squeezed her way inside the mannequin and was wearing it like a skin suit. I saw her eye in the shattered half of its face, wildly rolling around in its socket. And this time, I did scream.
I got a chill. I got a legit
What the
chill up
fuck
my
is
spine.
this bitch
I thought
doing,
maybe
bro?
she was behind it, like puppeteering it, which is funny.
Yeah.
But like her, like
This is some
you know
Five
how
Nights at
long it
Freddy's
would
shit,
take
bro.
to squeeze inside of a mannequin?
It's impossible. Yeah.
Some spring trap shit.
honey.
Yeah.
No wonder why the footsteps were so loud. She
Yeah.
was in this suit going.
Sweat starts to bead on my eyebrows. This man's story is getting to me in a way I hadn't expected. I rolled out of bed from the side away from her and dashed towards the bathroom. I locked myself inside it, only for her to come and start slamming into the door. Again, and again, and again she smashed into it.
I'd have to kill
with
her.
a force that defied her size.
I ain't doing that.
The door should have crashed open, but somehow it stood firm.
Would I fight my wife?
At this point, yes.
I don't think so. I think what I would probably do is just whoop, scooch past her. All right, see you there, and I'll meet you downstairs.
There's really no chase here. You can even scooch past, and she'll probably be like,
I know.
here's all you have to do to fight her.
But okay, no, I get what you're saying. You guys are acting like she's getting in like an Iron Man suit. I don't think that's how this is working. I don't think the back of it just opened up and she crawled into it. I believe she's taking like the broken pieces and putting them on her body. So she's still going to have breaks in places. So she's going to be able to move. You know what I mean? Is that making sense? Like, it's not like this mannequin, just the back of it opened up and it came in around her. I mean, you would literally have to like put each section on piece by piece. So there's going to be, I get their logic, but it's not smart. Don't listen to them.
Not me, though. I was finally doing what I had been wanting to do since that morning, curling up into a ball and weeping like a baby. I wanted this horror to end, but it didn't. It lasted the whole night. Only when sunlight started to seep through the small window did her banging and scratching and clawing end. When I was fully convinced that she had left, I got up and walked out of the bathroom. There was no sign of her upstairs, so with great hesitation, I headed downstairs. She wasn't there either. The only thing I saw downstairs was pieces of plastic and fabric strewn all across the living room. Hundreds of them, just carpeting the floor. One look and I knew that they were nothing but smashed pieces of those mannequins. I was just starting to think about what I should do next when I heard footsteps on the porch. I thought it was Maya, but no. It was the two cops who brought me here. I breathe a sigh of relief. Pieces of the puzzle start to click in my brain. So you don't know where your wife is? No, he says, still staring at me. I have no clue. But you think I do, don't you? You think I lost my mind and killed her. Or I did the killing first and now I'm just pretending to be insane. I choose not to reply.
It's weird to say that if I was in this point, I would be like, oh, this guy's kind of telling the truth because he told me his wife dressed up like a mannequin. But
Out on a limb with that one, yeah.
it certainly isn't as likely as he killed her and made a story up, maybe, but this is such a good story.
It is
Sort of a
good
go
story.
big or go home scenario.
It's like one of those stories.
That's
It's like
true.
you
You're
had to
gonna
be
make
there
up a story
to believe
about
it.
why
You
your
know what I
wife is
mean?
missing. I guess go mannequins.
Do you subscribe to the theory that if the lie is very elaborate, it's probably not a lie?
You know, everyone's lies differently, I'm sure.
How do you lie?
Quite comfortably. In a hammock.
It's a good theory, but it's not true. I know it's not true. And you would too if you could only see what I'm seeing right now. What's he seeing right now? Me? No. A pinprick of fear grows at the back of my neck as I realize that he hadn't been looking at me this whole time, but behind me. I whip my head around and almost fall out of my chair when I see a dark suited silhouette standing a couple of feet away from me. You see it too, don't you? Good God, you see it too. So, are you scared?
Slightly, yeah.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
That was.
I think the
pretty good.
implications are staggering. I'm just saying the next time you go to an H&M, kick the shit out of every mannequin you see in there. Just for safety. Tell them the boys sent you.
That one's for Ryan and Shane. You son of a bitch. All right, well, that story was submitted to us by Bikram Mann. Once again, you might remember him from last season. And also, if you like this story, go ahead and check out his book, Unclean Spirits. He clearly is he's a twisted guy.
Just like you.
Takes one to know one. This could be a metaphor for like healthy communication habits between partners, perhaps.
To me, it strikes me as a metaphor about what happens when your wife gets obsessed with 5 mannequins and goes totally nuts.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Well written. I really did want to know what the hell happened at the end of that story.
Write a sequel.
I don't think he killed his wife. Did he kill his wife? Yes or no? Let's take a poll in the comments. Cuffs?
I
No
don't
cuffs?
know.
We'll see you next week, everybody.
I do want a sequel to it though. All right, I really enjoyed that one. That one was a really, really good one. Like my nipples are hard and everything, and I feel like booty. All right, I really enjoyed Dave's video. If you guys enjoyed Dave's video as much as I did, please go down there, leave a thumbs up. It really does help the channel grow. While you're down there, if you want, go on over and slap that subscribe button, become part of the B5 Nation. We do some crazy stuff here. If you want to know when that crazy stuff happens, ding that bell and turn on all post notifications. That way you know when this beautiful face is back on that screen. As always, be good to one another. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, I want to go sleep so bad.